First off, thanks to everybody for being here. I am incredibly humbled to be associated with this great university and in particular in charge of LSU's offense and responsible for the production that we put on the field and the coaching that these guys receive. It's just something that is a dream job when it comes in my mind, and something that I've worked very hard for over the course of my career. I believe I've prepared for, and am very, very fortunate and grateful to be standing where I'm standing today and have an opportunity to talk to everybody. It's very easy for me to feel comfortable in this role, mainly because of the other men that are in that room with me. And the full-time guys are here today. Obviously, Coach has talked a lot about each one of those guys. Let me just say, from my perspective, none of us had worked together before. We kind of met for the first time after we finished the recruiting campaign and tried to lock down as many difference makers as we possibly could. And walking into the offensive staff room for the first time with these guys was like walking into a room with people that I've known my whole life. And that is so important, I think, not only that our players understand the relationship that we have and how we work together, but what makes that possible is that these guys being great recruiters, great football coaches, that to me is an awesome piece of it. What they are is great men. And when you assemble a staff like that, as Coach Kelly has, you give your players the best opportunity possible to be good at what they do, and not just good at what they do, but great at what they do. So the foundation is being laid, and that continues with our players even as we speak. They're in the weight room grinding. We got them out in the indoor facility running. We've got them on the practice fields running. They're putting some blood, sweat, and tears into it as we stand here and talk to each other. Now, what's been impressive to me about our group of players in particular is they're not afraid to put their heads down and grind. And that's what it's going to take to get us back where we need to be, and really to LSU's rightful place atop the college football world. And that's the goal. And I think Coach Kelly's been very clear at stating that. We understand what the expectations are. We're not afraid of them. We're going to embrace it. We're going to work every day to make sure it becomes a reality for the people that love LSU football. As an offensive staff, we're going to do everything that we can in our powers from sun up to sundown to make sure Saturday nights in Baton Rouge we light this stadium up with the excitement that the LSU fans expect. With that, I will open it up to some questions.
Hey, Mike, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Pleasure to meet you. How would you sort of describe the offense that y'all are going to run here and what that scheme is going to look like?
I would describe it at this very moment in time as a work in progress. We certainly, you've watched Notre Dame football. Those of you who have had an opportunity to watch some of the things that we did at Cincinnati, there is a base of what we will be. We're going to be a team that plays physically tough, is going to run the football with effectiveness, is going to have the ability to stretch the field vertically and create explosive plays, whether that's in the run or the pass game. And we're going to have a workable drop-back game where we can make sure that if we get into situations where we've got to throw the football, we throw it effectively and efficiently. The idea of, coming together as a staff and what we're working on even, as we kind of broke our meeting to come over here as an offensive staff and to kind of meet with you, we're in the process of trying to figure out exactly what direction that's going to end up taking. Is it we're a personnel-driven offense at its core, which means it's multiple enough that we can do what we need to do with whichever personnel group we decide to do it with. So I heard, yesterday, them talk a little bit, and you guys talked a little bit defensively about being multiple defensively and how important that was. We feel the same way offensively. It's going to be with 10 personnel. It's going to be with 11 personnel. It's going to be with 12 personnel. There were times in the last few years at the place I just left where we played with 14 personnel. So, you know, it's going to be multiple in what we do and what we present to the defense. Can't run the same plays out of the same looks every down and have success against the defenses that we're going to play against. So it's going to be, you know, an effort on our part to show the defense as many multiple looks as we possibly can, while not confusing the guys that are doing running the plays and executing the plays at a very high level. But we're just in the beginning stages of that. You know, to say that we're going to run my offense, it would be pretty arrogant on my part, especially considering the talent that's in this room. We're going to run an offense that's LSU's offense, and we're in the process of as a staff of making sure we get that straightened out and get the verbiage the way we want it, and get a lot of those details kind of ironed out.
Hey, Mike, Brody Miller with The Athletic. You know, you have the experience of going from Notre Dame and then coaching a very good group of 5 team, and now back to the SEC West. I'm curious, did that kind of change any perspective for you kind of in how to run an offense?
I don't know that it does. I think it's got a lot to do more in my mind with a lot of the things that Coach Kelly talked about, getting the ball in playmakers' in hands in space, allowing them to be productive within the framework of what you're doing. I don't think that changes level to level. Having an attitude about yourself offensively, where you're going to be able to run the ball even if they know you're going to run it, to the point where you point at the point of attack and say, we're going to run the football right here, and good luck to you. Those things, I think, carry over to any level of football. And so that's the makeup of who we want to be and who we want to become.
Hey, Mike, Scott Rapollet with The Advocate. How much have you been able to drill down so far on your quarterback room, your situation? You have obviously very talented freshmen coming in, and 2 guys with experience, but with not a whole lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting spring for Coach Sloan and for all of our offensive unit. I mean, we're going to have to use spring football, and this is kind of a roundabout way, I hope you don't mind, to answer your question, but spring football is going to be a little bit of us figuring out exactly what we can be and what we can become throughout the process of building this offense. We haven't had an opportunity to really be on the field and work with these guys all that much yet, but it's coming, which is good. So we can really gauge where that's it, and then we'll, you know, through kind of giving the quarterbacks the information they need to be successful, give them opportunities within the spring to kind of show who really fits into what we're best at doing, and let that competition play its way out and make sure that the best guys out there giving us the best chance to win.
Hi, Mike. This is Leah from The Advocate. You talked about developing that offensive style here, and just to kind of follow up on that, how much do you let the talent that's already here dictate that scheme that you're going to play, and then once you have that scheme, are you going to recruit to that, or just kind of see what the talent holds in the state?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. I think it's, you know, to the first point of it, we have to be what we can be. You know, we have, you know, the players in the program. We're very talented, in my opinion, on the edges of our offense, in the backfield. You know, those players have to be utilized to their talent level, and you know, to the expertise that they bring to the offense. And right now, they're very physically gifted, and we need to make sure we're utilizing those guys. How much you know, we branch out from that will depend on, obviously, the makeup of our team moving forward. I don't know that I have all those answers for you today, but that's kind of where it starts. Those are the knowns. And then we're going to give people opportunities throughout the spring to step into roles and earn their way into being more a piece of what we do moving forward. And that's really the best we can do at this point. Okay.
Hey, Coach, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV. When Coach Kelly called you about this opportunity and taking the job, what was it that really excited you about coming to LSU? And were you surprised that Coach Kelly became the LSU head coach?
Oh, boy. I'll answer the first part of the question. You know, the first part of your question, you know, what excited me about coming to LSU was a lot of the obvious things. Obviously, playing in the SEC West and being part of, a conference and football at its highest level in college was very attractive. I'm a person that loves to challenge himself and loves to put himself in a position where I've got to learn and grow and develop and continue to grow my knowledge of the game and my understanding of the game. So that was a big piece of it for me. The other piece of it was watching over the years from afar all the great offensive talent in particular that has played at this great school. And those are the guys that we want to make proud of what we're doing here. And I wanted to be a piece of solving that issue for this university in particular, and letting those guys that have played here and set the framework and the groundwork for who we are and what we can become be the standard for what we're going to be moving forward. And that was really a no-brainer when you sit down and look at that.